WWE. Rhodesia, lock in.
Oh God, we started already.
WWE was the talk of the internet. Actually, probably around this time last week, maybe a couple days later, 5 days ago, I think it was. WrestleMania 42 has moved from New Orleans that they had already officially announced. Had The Rock come out there and say that's why he was coming on SmackDown. Finally, WrestleMania returns to New Orleans. My guy, that's going to go down as one of the worst promos in history. Rock announced WrestleMania New Orleans ain't happening. Then he said he wanted Cody Soul, and nothing happened after that. Might be one of the worst promos in history when we look back at this on like episode 600. This is episode 201, by the way. But they announced they are going away from New Orleans. That's the part they did announce. And talk on the street is they're going to back to Las Vegas next year for WrestleMania. They said that they want to go to Vegas regularly going forward because it's like a big match town or whatever the hell they said. British, I want to get you started early in this show. I want to get your juices boiling. You talked all about the money situation.
About a year ago. A year ago, I brought this up.
Word on the street, legit, word on the street, and this makes sense, is that they also wanted to go back to Las Vegas because they wanted to make sure they had a chance to beat the dollar record from this past year. Makes sense. Rhodesia, what is your thoughts about WWE going back to Las Vegas after originally announcing New Orleans? And maybe the reason why they're going back to Las Vegas for sure is so they can make sure they comp this year's event.
I have so many thoughts, feelings, issues with all of that. So to start off with, just how I have to remove myself from my feelings of The Rock. Like when The Rock came and he made that announcement, it just seemed like there was so much power struggle between, and I'm saying H and Rock, and of course probably it's not even H and Rock at all that has anything to do with this, but it's this power struggle. Oh, I'm the older brother, so this brother is more of the kid's favorite or the parents' favorite, so I'm gonna do this. Then the other brother's like, no, I'm gonna do this. So not only y'all brought us into y'all drama, let me just move past that. Okay, you're going back to Vegas. Vegas, going back to Vegas again. I'm not totally against it. I just know that we were all sick for 2 weeks after it. I think they probably gave us some germs when we went. But maybe I can overcome that again. Because, Vegas is fight town between boxing, all the UFC MMA fights. I can somewhat get it. But then to hear what you just said right there really just pissed me off. I was hoping and praying and begging and pleading that possibly now with them gaining back the fans that they want, taking it from the other company, the competition, boom. You have everybody in a chokehold that maybe you could be a little bit like helpful to the people who actually watches your product, the regular fans who tune in every single day. Now you're telling me that you want to go back to Vegas just so you could beat that record, to beat the gate, to make more money? Yo, what are we missing here? If you're already a billionaire, what's more? More billions? What can you do with this? I am so sorry. And I know people are like, Rhodesia, it's the capitalistic world. That is, you're in the business to make money. But there comes a point where there is just greed. And greed is a deadly sin. So with all that, and I'm still haven't reconciled in my head the whole issue with Rocky coming out. Again, was he trying to stun on H? I mean, I still haven't worked through that.
Well, yeah, I mean, because in your world, maybe. I think you just worked yourself into a shoot, brother.
I'm already sweating too.
I know you are. You worked yourself into a shoot. Well, this is a business. So if I'm only talking from a business perspective, they have to do better than last year because to the shareholders and everybody will look like they are declining. So I got that part.
Then don't go back to Vegas right now then, if that's the case.
If that's what they think they can get it. I was really interested to see the price of the tickets in New Orleans. Superdome is much bigger than Allegiant Stadium, so you could still be able to beat last year with more people and maybe drop those ticket prices a little bit. I do know SummerSlam, I guess, is priced reasonably well, they were saying. So I guess that's a good thing.
Reasonable well to them or to us as consumers?
To fans.
Okay.
Because you ain't getting no stage. That's why the money that they say.
Fuck the production money. The production budget.
Go, man.
No.
That is why you go. Eshaun, did this change your thoughts in any way of you deciding to go to WrestleMania next year? And were you thinking about going to WrestleMania when it was announced for New Orleans?
Quote, my man, Chris Tucker, Smokey, Smoke Dog from Friday. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a damn. I won't go anyway. And I love my sister over there, man. Y'all gonna be sitting front row ass seats. Y'all, whatever seats y'all got this year, y'all gonna do it better next year, because that's what y'all do. It ain't nothing wrong with that.
Because that Patreon gonna come in. That's why.
I love it. It ain't no Patreon.
No more coming from the
Patreon
bank account.
Nah. Patreon or nah. That's what y'all gonna do. And I love it. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But I'm just saying, look, we can't sit there and be getting on these high horses about these things, and we gonna take it. We gonna partake. Y'all gonna be in there. Y'all gonna be in there doing y'all thing regardless. But I'm good. I'm good. I actually, hey, look, fans, I don't look freaks. Don't do the Patreon. I'm not going. I'm taking a strike. I'm taking a strike for y'all. Okay, I'm gonna be the one that's gonna take a stand and say no more. Okay, I'm not gonna say, the Atlanta tickets for Saturday Night Main Event popped up today. God damn it! And just to see lower level for short people like me, when you 5'10" and below, you know what I'm saying? They want $400 one seat. So I want to take the family, right? I gotta take little E, another $400. Other little E, want to be another $400. Wife want to go too, another $400. That's for one night, goddammit. So if I want to go to the next night, another $400. You know what I'm talking about? So when does it stop? It don't stop. Won't stop, because until people want to keep spending their monies, right? People want to keep sitting front row. They're going to do what they do. This is a business. I ain't mad at that. I ain't mad at nobody for spending, and I ain't mad at nobody for getting. I want to get something, though. You know what I'm saying? Send me something. Send me a little something. Send me a snack tomorrow.
Are y'all done?
No, I'm not done. Can I go back again?
No, we good.
Just in case my point wasn't made.
No, we're good.
Clear.
Welcome to the TFW Podcast. That's freaking wrestling. As I said, this is episode 201 of this said podcast, the best kept secret in wrestling podcast. Y'all know the three of us by now. Hopefully you do. Maybe this is your first time listening and watching on YouTube. Welcome. You guys know I am Matt, joined by the two ranters right over there, Rhodesia and Eshaun. So that's the thing. I was just shocked because that was the first time WWE has ever announced what WrestleMania was, and they pulled it. I guess New Orleans will be taken care of. They're getting Money in the Bank next year, and then they're also getting the future WrestleMania.
That's what I was just about to ask.
Yep.
So, because I would imagine, actually, I think we know somebody who already booked hotels for
a lot of people
next year.
That's what people were saying. Hotels,
air flights, probably.
Think about the indie promoters that had already booked New Orleans. And all it is, you cancel it and do it again. But that creates a lot. That adds a lot to just switching the place. Like I said, they still haven't said it's Vegas. So I guess there's a slight chance somewhere else.
So I went on this rant for nothing, almost?
That's the news. That's the news. That it's Vegas. But yeah, so that's that. All right, y'all, let's get to it. I want to get to it in, like, typically we get started with the biggest news topic of the said week. And there was so much this weekend. Shout out to wrestling fans. You had your buffet of wrestling this weekend. Whatever you were into, you hopefully found it. And if you didn't find it, give this game up. Still listen to our podcast, but get this game up. So this thing ain't for you no more. But we had Saturday night's main event. We had NXT Battleground. We had AEW Double or Nothing. There's no way for us just to break all this down, right? And I still have yet to see NXT, but that's not going to matter to the question I'm going to ask you guys about it. So I got to watch that. I'll probably watch it later on this week, even though I know the finishes. I still want to go back and watch it. I heard there's some really good matches on there, but we can't break all of it down. This would be another 3-hour podcast. So let's take the biggest story from each show. And if we talk about it for 5 minutes, cool. If we talk about it for 20 minutes, cool. It just depends on where it takes us. So let's have some combos on this pod here. So let's start. I guess we can start with Saturday night's main event. And if I looked at the biggest, moment coming out of that show, or the biggest story coming out of that show, I gotta just say the returns and clump both of them in together. Bronson Reed and Cody Rhodes, to me, was like the biggest story out of Saturday night's main event. Do you guys have a different one, or is that kind of what you are thinking too?
We can land on that, but I wanted to say one that I didn't watch 1 second of was it Jay and Logan? I know evidently Jay won, but I didn't spend not an ounce thinking to watch that match. And that's actually, this is more time that I wanted to even talk about it. So never mind. Yeah, Cody Rhodes showing back up after Mania here in this spot. Does it make sense? Was it needed? Do I feel like they used him properly in that moment? I don't know yet. I haven't had time to kind of think through if that's where I wanted him to come back at. I guess it wasn't just a random Raw. At least it was a Saturday night's main event type deal, PLE kind of thing. But I don't know how I felt about him coming back. This is his first time coming back to be joined with somebody else and not like to defend his own honor. I don't know about that yet. But yes, I would think that was probably the biggest things.
Even though he came back to go at Cena, who he lost the title to?
Yeah, but it seems like maybe that was a little messy. Maybe did you just clump that? I mean, I think you actually led with that. Like, I think you just kind of clumped that in there. I don't know how I feel about that because it wasn't like clear and concise of like, this is why Cody Rhodes is coming back fully. Like, that's me. I don't know. I want to see how this plays out a little bit more though.
Man, let me tell you something. I try to be fair. I've held off. I'll let y'all talk about Cena. I don't like that motherfucker, man. At all. I think his shit's garbage. You know what I get mad about actually is that on these podcasts online, we want to railroad, Cody, when he won championship, he's not making people. He's not doing this. He's not doing that. John Cena as champion is boring. It's hard. I've watched a little bit of it. It's just terrible. I'm like, you know what? I'm a hater. So I'm not going to add to it. I don't like nothing this man's doing. Hallelujah, Cody Rhodes, man. Hey, save us, please. Take the belt off this nasty man. Hey, actually, I do appreciate John Cena putting like a little patch back there. I don't know, it's like if he sewed it in.
No, he said
he sprayed it.
He got implants.
Sprayed it.
They're called
implants,
right? Hair
implants.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm proud of Cena. No, see, like
he got peer pressure for that.
I don't like John Cena, the character.
He said that. He said the fans. He said if it wasn't for the fans getting on him, he wouldn't have done it. I don't believe that. Somebody would have had to have told him at this point, but that's what he said.
Right there. Look, I like the John Cena, the man, like the actor. I'm sure he's an awesome guy. I like his acting actually, but the character of John Cena is atrocious. It's horrible. So thank you, Cody Rhodes, for coming back. Maybe we can get the belt off this dude because his title run in SmackDown is horrible. Man, SmackDown was so hard to watch. And it's probably not just John Cena. Like, even when Cody was there, they wasn't necessarily running threads for him throughout the show. But man, it symbolizes for me. I think it's a conversation. Like, man, how bad these SmackDowns are with Cena as champion, how boring his run is. It's just terrible. Thank you, Cody. Thank you for coming back.
It's funny. So there's two schools of thought with this John Cena, and I might play devil's advocate a lot on this show. This is maybe my first devil's advocate. So there's two schools of thoughts of what's happening. One, to what E just said, this is a really bad heel run from arguably one of the biggest baby faces in the history, where the heel run should have been the biggest and craziest story for the entire year. There is 100% validity to that. And the other side of the coin, though, and this is once again just playing devil's advocate, from a business, I'm going back to business, from a business perspective, the issue right now for me, like with this Cena heel turn, and I have been entertained just because he's so goofy. Like, I'm watching it like as if it was like behind the scenes, and I'm just kind of watching him. Even like how he was talking to Jay, like why was his cadence like that with Jay on Saturday Night's Main Event? But anyway, if you look at where he's at now in this hill run, this is not what we expected. But as from a business perspective, you got Money in the Bank coming up. We don't want to waste one of the major John Cena singles matches on his last run for whatever reason. I don't know. Maybe they're just working their way back from December, whatever his last match is, right, in Boston. Maybe they just work their way back and they know what this end story is, and everybody's going to be cheering and crying and, just going crazy about it. And then we say, okay, well, how do we get there? So they literally just work all the way back to say how we get to this point. But for John Cena in his last Money in the Bank to not wrestle CM Punk, which would have been perfect just from a history perspective, maybe not from a storyline because they are way apart from each other. For him to have a tag match with Logan Paul, of all people. Never touched before this, never had a conversation on TV before this. And just because Cody Rhodes came back to help, who he called his brother, Jey Uso, which they have a history, for him just to announce that, or Cody announced it, for that to be the Money in the Bank match, like, what? But if WWE thinks we don't need him in a main event style match because we have both Money in the Bank ladder matches, maybe one of those finishes, I don't know. But there's two schools of thought of it, but I do think this is completely different than what anybody would have thought from his heel turn. It kind of just continues to feel like, did we really think this through?
It stinks.
Like, it
smells like garbage from last
week. What I did like him in R-Truth on Saturday Night's Main Event. And once again, two schools of thought. If we are just watching this because, I got it. It just hit me. What this feels like is a massive side quest. This entire run, it feels like a side quest. Like for us as viewers, our main quest is going to be Seth Rollins, Bianca Belair, Jade, and Naomi, which is incredible. The new luchadors coming in. Cody's attached to Cena, so I can't say Cody, but, whatever, Jacob Fatu. These are all of our main. This is what we're tuning in every single week for. Oh, yeah, and we got the fun little John Cena bad guy routine for the next year. That is what this feels like, because to get R-Truth in a match with John Cena in our Lord and Savior 2025 might be as bad as seeing Dustin Rhodes on pay-per-view, and I love Dustin Rhodes. I swear I do. He's one of my favorite people. I don't need to see him on pay-per-view in 2025. But to see that match, and they only gave 4 minutes, and I was very entertained in those 4 minutes with John Cena and R-Truth. So as a side quest, that is awesome. But as a main quest, you are like, what are we doing here? Why has Randy Orton not come back and said he wants? Like, what are we just doing? That's what it feels like.
I would say this just really quickly, and we can leave this, but John Cena, to me, deserves whatever he wants to do on this run. It's his final run.
Correct.
He has earned this. Again, it just started off so bad. And I don't think anybody really thought it will be here at all. So it gives me a thought that we never even had to turn him heel to begin with, but there was so much bickering between the siblings and their daddy that's what we have here. And again, I don't know this to be true, but this is just what I'm seeing as a fan. But I just really wish that this would have been in a different universe, different world. This would have played out a lot differently. But again, he deserves it. He can, to me, boring or not, and I'm not going to sit on here and say that he's been a great champion, but I think over the last 3 to 4 years anyways, we have seen that for the men's championship, there's really only ever been one important one, because when it was Brock holding the belt hostage, then you got Roman holding the belt hostage. I mean, it's always been kind of one main man's belt. Mm-hmm. So for me, John can do whatever he wants to do at this point. He put a timestamp on it, how many ever showings he has left. It ends December 31st. I can be okay with that. And this is going to be his time to get his get off. Again, we got to see him in R-Truth. I mean, come on. In what world that we thought that we would be able to see that, like legit, in his last year?
R-Truth cut a hell of a promo on SmackDown, didn't he?
He did. He's like, gonna whoop it in him.
What though? Like, you're whatting R-Truth right now? But when you spend that much money, you can do whatever you want. If you want to, I am no longer going to talk about people whatting or anything. You spent that much money to get in the building.
We want tables.
What away? Yeet whatever you want to away.
Tables.
Do it. Sure. Exactly.
Let people say what they want to say. But these heel turns or these heels are really strange in WWE. Because John Cena is the exact same character. He's walking around holding up a towel. You would think they'd say something disrespectful in the back of it.
Nope.
He's just reminding everybody that it's on the countdown. Like, hey, I'm about to leave. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know what it says. It says like, last time, it's almost now. Like, right? That's not heelish.
Last time, almost
like,
now. That should be the name of this episode. No, that's the name of this episode.
How long the towel have to be?
Last time, almost now.
Hand towel. That's got to be a damn beach towel,
man. Look,
last time
he really don't watch John Cena.
And he's just walking around with it all like with a big old scroll. Like you would think it said something like the hardest thing on the back of his head, like F you people or something. But it's just like, I'm leaving guys really soon. Like, what are you doing? You got Seth Rollins out there singing and shucking and jiving to his song.
We need to come on, y'all. We gotta stop this.
I don't know. Like we got some weird heels in WWE that's just I wouldn't say probably the realest heel we have in that company probably is Gunther, off the top of my head.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Gunther.
Bronson, right before he left, and then now
Bronson, Jacob Fatu.
Jake.
No,
Yeah, right. He's Jacob's about to.
I know.
He's
I
about
know,
to
that's
turn
why
prior
no,
to
not
now.
Jacob
Right. Yeah. Prior to now.
Not Jacob Fatu. Solo, maybe.
Yeah, you're right.
But
But Seth is doing some great work. His look is great. Like
That chain, that dude's chain
this isn't
is
on
hard.
Seth, but it's the music piece. Like, why are we?
Yeah.
And he talked about it. You booed me, but you were just singing my song. Well, to me, that's like a note to Triple H and Creative.
Maybe that's why he did that.
If we're looking
That's why he said
for
that.
heel heat, let's go heel. Let's
Yeah.
not do the sing along anymore.
But you know what? When I think about Seth's song, is it almost like Ric Flair wooing? Right? Cause Ric Flair as a heel,
yeah, sure.
woo, even at the height of his heeldom in NWA back in the day, he was wooing, and the crowd would woo along with him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Seth and his singing is kind of similar.
That is the same. And then when the music hit, people would still woo. But I guess the difference would be he's not wooing in the song. You know what I'm saying? Like, that would be the difference. Like Mercedes with the CEO. She wants people to say that.
Got
If
it.
they just did
I see what you're
it
saying.
without that being in it, you'd be like, oh, well, okay, all's fair in love and war. But if I'm trying to get this person straight heat, I don't want them chanting with the music.
Hey, but you remember Ric Flair back in the day, though, man. He cut a heel promo talking about everybody mama in the crowd, and then he go, "Fat boy, woo!" Like, how can you not woo back at him, right?
Yeah. He was so good. I was watching something just like a week ago with his promos, and I just wish that like I was a little bit older. You know, like younger, you really don't know what he's talking about. Yeah. But he's entertaining, right? You can see he's flashy. You can tell he's rich. He says get the girls are buying him. But he was giving up some game in them promos. And like even like Dusty Rhodes, right? Like that Hard Times promo. Imagine being our age now and hearing that Hard Times promo.
Probably cry.
Especially in back then when people who are watching kind of think this is a shoot. Yeah. You know, like they definitely don't know it's out like it is now. But if even we believe it's real or it's not real, we'll be talking about that promo. To your point, Rhodesia, like tears, maybe goosebumps, talking about it's one of the best promos ever, which it is. But I just wish that it, for us in our generation, I could have lived through those promos. Because is there a promo outside of the pipe bomb that is known,
more iconic?
Yeah, that is known. Like another generation is going to know about this promo, like we do Hard Times. Would it be the pipe bomb and that's it?
Yeah, I mean, Cody has some really big ones up there, but probably not memorable where somebody can quote his lines. Like probably with the Dusty Rhodes, with who you just said there. That
Hard Times.
No, the one what did you say after that though? Just had a brain fart.
Oh, Punk, the pipe
bomb. Yeah, like people can quote that. Cody has had like a couple of bangers in the last year where I'm like, oh my god, like that is his defining promo that he's ever had. But like if you tell me to quote it, I probably couldn't quote it.
But you know what, Ric Flair had a lot of those. Like, right, like he didn't. I don't think he has a specific promo that stands out. But a lot of those Ric Flair isms that he started doing late in his career, those are derivatives of like what he did early in his career. He would just go off the jet stealing. Like he was like that just came off the top at one day on one of his promos, and that makes me think about like you mentioned Dusty Rhodes, Ric Flair, like talking about like wrestlers that try to transcend their era. Like I feel like you can take Dusty and Ric Flair and plant them in today's world, and they'll still be over like hell. Because Dusty, he may not look like a main event wrestler, but he talked like one, right? You think about Kevin Owens, like, right?
Same, right?
Yeah, like this somebody who can just talk.
I'm sure Dusty saw KO and was just like, I see, like, I get it. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to have that look. You just are a rugged guy. And to your point about Dusty, man, the biggest baby face.
Yep.
Like, what? Wow. It's So, okay, you got Austin 316, right? So you got that one. Yeah. So that's our generation. Well, that's actually, I guess, Ease in my generation, Rhodesia, because that's probably a little 96. Would we say that? No, but the pipe bomb would be yours.
Yeah, but can I share this too, though? Let's be honest, though. Austin 316, when did he start coining that phrase? Because
that night.
Survivor.
Okay,
that night. Yep.
So I wonder though if it's just more so the time of him constantly bringing up. So like the woo, right? So the woo, he's had decades to the woo, so he's known for the wooing part. But I wonder if he didn't keep saying Austin or 316 or whatever, if that would have been his pipe bomb.
That's
of
such
your
a great
generation.
question because you weren't around. So like legit, you don't know the
I
answer.
don't know.
Because that
Austin
wasn't really
316
that wasn't really a catchphrase though.
No,
right? That was
correct.
something he just off the top,
Mm-hmm.
and it was really great to Rhodesia because at the time, Jake the Snake Roberts was doing like this religious gimmick, and right,
It wasn't
so,
a gimmick.
like-
He was religious then. Don't do that. You don't do that. See, it was a gimmick, but he was legit. It came from his real life. That's when he found God. He stopped doing.
So like
crack.
like how
No,
Shawn
no,
Michaels.
no,
Whoa.
but, hey, but
You've
no,
seen beyond the
but
match.
no,
He was doing crack in the
no.
hotel.
That's right. That's right.
no,
He was doing
they,
crack.
they said during he had relapsed around that time period.
Yeah, according to you.
Yeah,
you just made that up.
no, I'm telling you, go back and look it up. Freaks.
That's
Eric,
funny.
Eric know too, right? Eric, like, look, go back. He wasn't living the life like he was supposed to live. However, but again, so like at the end of that promo, like it's like I think Steve said he's talking to Michael Hayes before he went out there. He's like, what do I say? What do I say? I say what comes to your mind. So he went out there, and that just came off the top of his head. He said he didn't know where he was going during the promo, and he just spit that line out. And that never really ended up being like something he just said.
Yeah, he never said
every
Austin
promo.
316 really.
Yeah,
so he said it at
after-
one
yeah.
time. They made shirts like the
Then it
next
became
2
a
weeks
shirt.
later, and
Became a shirt.
it blew up. So yeah, he
But
never
that's what.
went
But
with-
that's the point that I'm making. The actual promo itself, would that have been as memorable? Just like how I brought up the woos. So the very first time Ric Flair did woo, if it was in a promo,
Oh, I got you.
You see what I'm saying? Like I don't necessarily think that promo itself was the best. That's
But
what
it
I'm
had
getting
to
at.
be because it's
And-
iconic. Because we're talking about it now. So that's how you know that what your answer is, because we're actually talking about it. If we weren't talking about it and somebody brought it up, and you'd be like, okay, maybe.
Okay, so then like know your damn role. Shut your candy ass up.
Those are all great slogans. Those aren't
Right.
promos. We could have that conversation. That'd be a fun conversation one day.
So hey, I'm
It's
write that down.
Your favorite, catchphrase.
Hey, you know what? That 316 line, that reminds me of something like your mama would say to you back in the day. You know, your
Yeah, I
mom
think you get your
would
ass
say
whooping.
that corny.
Of
They say that
course.
corny shit, like, you say something like use like some slang.
Yeah.
And then they try to flip it around and they make it corny. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because that's what it kind of was. He was like, yeah, you spit your Bible verses and, your John, blah, blah, blah. Well, Austin 316 said, I was whooping. That's something like your mama would say back in the day, like trying to be cool, but she, it ain't really
mama's-
hard.
I'm sure
his actually hit hard, though.
I'm sure your mama probably cut a hell of a promo. That's probably where you heard your first promo.
No, her promo was terrible. Them
Black
promos
mamas
was terrible.
Okay, you must ain't pissed your mama off enough. Shout out to Mama E.
She
But-
tried, though.
Mama E
Hey,
knows.
the funny thing is-
if you make a black mama upset,
Yeah.
brother, you will get the best promo you've ever heard.
And listen, Katrina do this. I'm like,
God,
you
and
turned
God
into a
would come
mom.
in on it. God,
Hey,
wait,
listen.
what God got to do with this, Mom?
Wait, Rhodesia,
ate
do
a
you do
cookie.
that? Do you do that? Because like Katrina does that to the kids.
Yeah,
Like,
no, what? Yes, E, she does it almost every night.
No,
But
I
her
don't.
promos are just like somebody told her, you got 5 seconds. And she, you know what I'm saying? She read all 500 words in like 5 seconds. And then Matt just walk away. And we just look at each other. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, pal. And we just shrug, and she'll be fine, though. She bounces back quick. That's the thing. Like, I think she really does think this is wrestling. She cut one promo, she ready to cut another one in like 5 seconds. It's like, all right.
It's the next
I
night,
got
huh? It's the next
I
night.
got it, man.
We're in Newtown.
So yes, her and Katrina they have that in life. What were we just talking about?
We was talking about how powerful pipe
actually-
bomb promos
yeah,
and stuff like
You want to
that.
go back to Saturday Night Main Event? Well,
Yes.
talk about
Cody. Well, I want to talk about Cody because I
Okay.
never got a chance to talk about it. It's funny. So Eric last week, shout out to everybody who was on the pod last week. Got awesome feedback too from that show. So thank you everybody who reached out. We appreciate you guys. We love you guys as always. But remember last week on the show, I just threw it out there to the crew and just said, how missed is Cody? Eric was like, he's not missed at all. And then I get because we weren't watching live, so I wasn't checking Twitter. I'm guessing it must have happened when Cody came out and got that Road Warrior pop. Eric sends me a message and says, well, I guess I was wrong about how over Cody is. Yes, that brother is over. And evidently by that reaction, he was missed from the fans. So I thought that was tremendous. So I knew he was coming. So to me, like when the music hit, because the original word was at Money in the Bank was supposed to be a 6-man tag, including Jimmy, Jay, and Cody, and then Travis Scott, John Cena, and Logan Paul. I'm guessing they nixed that because they would have announced it by now. That show was next Saturday. So I knew Cody was coming back soon. So when his music hit, I was like, okay, that's cool. But I wasn't surprised. Bronson Reed is the one that surprised me.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of shocked me. I didn't know his timetable. And then to see him down with Seth and Braun Breaker, and he's got it too as a heel. Like, I know he got to wear the leotard while he wrestles, but every time he shows up outside of wrestling, he looks like a big deal. So he looked like a star for anybody who may have just been watching or flipping through the channels. That may have been one of those moments we all kind of remember, like, oh, I remember the first time I watched wrestling on TV. Seeing it was on regular local TV, you never know, what that looks like. But what you guys think about Bronson being down with Seth and Punk? I'm not Punk, but Heyman and Braun Breaker.
Well, we need a name for them. To my knowledge, they haven't been named yet. Paulie did a fantastic job in introducing everybody, but I need to get a name for their faction. But Bronson, again, the whole leotard, just get rid of it, please. But he looks so damn hard. Like, he fits so well between Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. I mean, like, first off, that was like next level thinking. Like, I've been following Bronson on the internet, so I thought. And then, of course, now hindsight being 2020, he's been silent for the last couple weeks, at least what came on my feed. And then he shows up. I thought his timetable was a much longer than this. So I guess that just goes to show the work and all the effort he was putting in to come back. But he fits. And after Ego, I did have a quick question on it, and I probably just pose it right now. Are you happy that the fourth person that we got, I'm including Paul in this, is another guy?
We actually had a show a couple of shows ago, and we were talking. I asked like who you think the fourth person would be, and I actually posed Bronson Reed. I'm like, I think Bronson Reed would be a good look. Another menacing heel. He wears the black suits, and when he popped up, I was like, bet, because I thought that would be a good slot for him. Another heavy that they can use. I want to check out this man's like wrestling gear. His wrestling gear is fine. He's a big dude. He don't want his tits out. Like, I don't want mine out either. I mean, I don't say now that's all put the promos.
No, he still be covered up.
Wrestle
brother.
like KO.
Oh, you can wear. You want to not have a
You want him to wear a t-shirt and drawers?
No, he can look like KO though.
So a t-shirt and basketball shorts. I mean,
yes, that's perfectly fine.
Everybody, KO barely pulled that off. Let that man have that look. You know what I'm saying? Like, let that man.
He looked like Big Show. Is what he looked like.
Because you know what? Because that's wrestler gear. Wrestler
over the heel, Big Show.
Yeah,
and I love Big Show.
Gear. Like, right? That's what they wear. Like, it's perfectly fine. But I was happy with it because I thought that would be a good slot. I was pleasantly surprised, as you said. We hadn't heard anything about him. I didn't know when he's coming back. But yeah, I'm super happy with that. As far as it being another girl guy. Here's the thing about when they add like a woman to like a faction. I feel like the best use of a woman in a faction in the modern era of wrestling has been with Rhea Ripley. And maybe with Liv to a degree. Because a lot of times
would Liv with the Judgment Day right now?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes. Because a lot of times when a woman's added to the faction, they're like, for instance, like on what's the stupid Death Riders on AEW? Like, when old girl as with John
Marina,
right? She's kind of like the valet to him. She interferes, but she's just kind of like a side piece. And a lot of times when they add women to these groups, they're like a side piece because a lot of times like the major storylines involves the men. And the women typically can't be that physical, so they can't get involved in that type of a level. And they're typically, especially if they're like a mouthpiece for a said wrestler, they're kind of just there as like a side piece. So with Judgment Day and with Rhea actually ended up being the star of the group. And she got physical with the guys, so she was able to be involved in some of the different storylines, and they built everything around her. So a lot of times, if you're going to bring a woman in there, and she can't be involved in like the major storylines involved in the faction, it just end up being like a side attraction.
So are you saying like she can't be involved because the men to women ratio where like you can't have the woman be physical with the men, or are you saying she's not getting involved because she's not a big enough star to get involved?
So you look at the economy of like the group right now. You got Seth Rollins is going after the championship, right? Right. So that's number one. That's like your main event heel of the group, right? I don't know what they're gonna do with Bronson and Braun.
Maybe tag.
Braun. Like they maybe can go after the tag team championship or something.
And they should hold it forever.
They can do that. So that'll be another type of a thing, right? So with so if they move the woman will be what in the women's division, right? Which is a
Becky would
separate
fit.
outside of sure.
Goes back to
But
Becky.
my point is that that's a separate storyline outside of what the men are doing. Right. Because like, you know what, the men are going to be, all three guys are going to be part of that one thing, that one storyline. Whatever the Becky will be doing will be separate on top of what she's doing with the actual faction.
Gotcha.
Like, right. So in that kind of sense, it doesn't always make sense. Correct. Now it makes sense if she's just like, you know, with Scarlett, like with Carrion. Like Scarlett doesn't have her own individual storyline, because if she did, it'll be separate outside of Carrion, because Carrion can't really cross over to that.
I would like to see if there was a woman, because everything you said makes sense as far as the current roster of women that they have there. If you introduce a woman, she's going to automatically play like that second position, or even the fourth if you go behind the tag teams. But I think Becky is strong enough to be the person to have, like to what you said, have her own pathway. And at the end of the day, it's part of like their bloodline. Like we can still come together as a faction and be a faction, but my North Star is still winning the women's championship, or in this case, she's going for the IC championship. But point is, she could be strong enough to be a woman on that team, to be an equal to the main person, which is Seth. Outside of her, I don't know if anybody else could. Well, actually, not. I don't know. No one else can right now be that. But Marina, Eshaun, I talk to Matt about her every time I see her. I want her to be so good. Her look is menacing. Her body's phenomenal. She just gives off the vibes of just, she will F you up stone face. And we just don't get it. But I really, really wish we could get more from Marina, because she looks fantastic.
She's got the look.
Mm-hmm. She plays the part well. I mean, her role that she has, she's almost kind of like you know, like that kind of that China role.
I was about to say China. She was like China,
big, right? Yep. Yeah, but you know, and she interfered in a lot of the matches and whatnot. But again, almost like in the manager type of role.
But she's ready to fight. She's ready to fight with them and throw them blows.
The problem is for her, she's not a great wrestler right now.
And I guess you say right now
because she's in a main event faction or storyline.
Yeah,
but that's the issue. Like, she doesn't really hold her end of the bargain up when it's kind to go bell to bell right now. That's kind of what her issue is. And
it's kind of, it's like, it's one thing right before we get off of it. Let's say she was a good wrestler, right? And so there's a main event story with John, and she's included, and she's like front and center of that. Unless it's like a mixed tag or type of a thing, like she wouldn't be able to really get like. So let's say, I don't know who's going to save the day. Hopefully it's Hangman. I don't actually want to get into that today, but like, let's say it's Darby, like, right, and she can't really pose if her and Darby aren't going to have a match, like, right. So it doesn't matter.
What's the payoff
for her to get heat? Yeah, what's the payoff?
What's the payoff? No, I get that for sure. And that Seth faction, the story is the faction. So you got to be careful when you do add another. I do think maybe they add one more person, because that's an easy War Games team if you ever need it.
They need a name.
That's
though.
fair.
I'm with Rhodesia. They do need a name. They do need a name.
So if we add another person to the wrestlers, so the fourth member as wrestlers, then would it be a woman?
No. Well, right now this faction is set up for Seth Rollins.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, that's the whole point of this faction. This faction isn't for the entire faction to be dominant. This faction is set up for Seth Rollins to succeed. So what woman could you put into the faction that's going to help Seth? You're not going to get one. So unless they change course of what this faction is going to turn to be, right now it's Seth and his badasses for the most part. Tag team division is back. We brought up tag teams with potentially Braun and Bronson. But I've been kind of holding off a little bit on talking tag teams in WWE, but the tag team division is back. With what the Profits is doing every chance they get now, Fraxium coming up has been
that's my boys
one
right
of
there.
the best call-ups in a
my
long
boys.
time.
Love them.
We know we got, of course, Gargano and Ciampa. I mean, they're starting to build. And I am now ready for the opposite of what I said, a few months ago, where I said keep Penta solo as long as possible before you bring him with his brother Phoenix. I'm getting ready to see that tag team. Now, one, because the division is so great. Like, the division is fantastic.
I'm not there yet.
I am. The division is great. I'm sorry. Let me take that back. These last few weeks have been fantastic.
I'm not there yet.
A little bit hyperbole. My bad on that one.
Tap.
It is, the division is back. And I'm excited to see it. We've been talking about it for a long time. And the reason why I said that about Penta is because I'm starting to see a trend of him being put in big matches that he doesn't win.
Mm-hmm. He just won the first time. Yeah.
He's a Money in the Bank. He's not winning Money in the Bank. He's going to do something that's going to blow our minds in the match. And you don't have to get pinned, so it's not going to hurt him. But he's had a couple IC title shots, didn't win them. He's going to lose in Money in the Bank. So if we start getting him in that territory, he's too big to not put him in big matches, but not big enough to win the big one because we got stories for everybody else. Just go ahead and let's put this tag team together.
I'm with the Street Profits. What I can say is they are on a path of bringing the men tag team division back to being interesting. I'm not there where you're at all. Just because I still feel like sometimes Street Profits is a little too cheesy for me. And then that makes me think, like, is this just going to be them? And do I need to accept them that way? Just like how I've accepted John Cena for who he is. Do I just need to accept them for who they are? It doesn't take away from how great they wrestle. I just saw them on SmackDown last Friday, and then whatever that was right after Mania, the shit they put on in that ladder match. So I'm not taking anything away from their work rate and how amazing they are in the ring. And even as tag team, they're actually a real tag team. But there's still just some parts of it that is like just a little too cheesy for me, and it's conflicting because they'll come out in their black gear, which would make you think they're a little edgier, but then they still are like, I can love them. They can be people that I can bring home to mom and dad. So I'm still a little conflicted there. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I just need more clearly defined who these characters are and why I should cheer for you and why I should boo for you. But I see what you're saying. They have all the makings. We have this big old pot. You have all the makings of the right players. Now let's stir that son bitch up and let's get something out of this.
I see where you're getting at with the tag team division, Matt. You know, I spent some time watching SmackDown. I still feel like it was dragging, but I know what you mean about the tag team division itself because it's some good work, right? Especially on the SmackDown side. You know, I like DIY. I think they have a nice little heel thing going. I don't know how much Candice adds to that, but I do like Candice. But there's something there, you know, and I hope they can groom that. Motor City Machine Guns, big fan of theirs. I just feel like they've been kind of like a flat pop since they've been on that roster. I'm not sure what they necessarily need. You know, maybe a series of some good matches to kind of let them be like that work rate guys, right? Because, you know, the Hardy Boys weren't Mike Wizards back in the day, but they did have like a charisma, especially with Jeff. Not the Profits though. Like I'm very interested in like who gives the creative direction for them. Because when you look at them, as you said, Rhodesia, in the black, they look like they have like a little bit of a menace to them. They kind of try to frown a little bit more. I actually like Dawkins on the promo side a little bit. Like I feel like he brings like a little bit of intensity, a little bit of seriousness, and a little bit of edge to his promo. And then Montez starts talking, like right, and it's like, you talking about corny. He come off a little corny a little bit, right? But then kind of he tries to clean up at the end. Maybe it might be a little more short and sweet with him. But then going back to the corny thing, they come out there and they do their entrance. They start doing that little dumbass shuck and jive shuffle right in the beginning. Like I'm like, what y'all doing, right? Like they stopped doing that for a while, and then they brought it back, like right more recently. So I'm just interested in who is their writer, who's entitled like the correct, like yo, what's y'all game plan with these dudes, man? Like, you know, if y'all can just cut some of the shit, and like there's just been different versions of them, but they never stuck to anything consistent. The only thing they consistently stick to is being goofy and corny and doing the little dance at the beginning of the entrance. So, but overall, going back to your Lucha Bro hookup, I'm okay with Penta doing this thing, like right, because I like again that roster's loaded, and there's so many guys that are like over, semi-over, like everybody can't win, like right, everybody like so somebody has to take a pin sometimes, but I feel like he's over enough to where I hate to say when wins losses don't matter, but sometimes they don't, especially with WWE and how they kind of
Right.
play. Like with the audience is going to tell you if it matters or not. And I don't think it matters right now for Penta. Now, will it if it continues? Possibly. But you think about like a Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn loses more than he wins, and he still gets like a great reaction. But at the same time, if that SmackDown roster on the tag team side continues to heat up, I certainly like to see them mix it up. But I think it's a different story on the Raw side. Like, is that like maybe that 3-way they had or whatever was good, but I didn't watch it.
I fast forwarded. I did. I said sorry because we started real late. And I had to want to get through the show. But I was like, nah, I can't. Not when. Sorry, as much as I enjoy New Day's work, I'm not going to spend time watching that triple threat match when I gotta work it in the morning. Sorry, that's not the one. Tap my bad, man.
Sorry, not sorry.
You know what I'm saying? I'm so proud of y'all. I love you too. Right now, I'm gonna put you guys over so much right now in this moment. Eshaun and Rhodesia, you guys are the best because I have made sure I've stayed clear of any Montez Ford criticism because I did not want to be marked as a hater or butthurt because he blocked us on Twitter for just my real statements about this same thing last year.
Sean blocked you too, by the way.
Oh, he definitely
Sean blocks everybody. Yeah. I haven't even did the search for him because I'm scared I'm gonna be blocked by him.
I don't know if it was when I was in my like 100% pro AEW days and I said something crazy, but I don't say nothing crazy online. So I'm sure that wasn't it. I must have been a part of something. I must have liked something that he didn't like. So he canceled me. But you guys said it. And this is why I've been having this kind of in the tuck for a long time, and you guys have said it all, so I'm not going to repeat it. But I've been wanting to bring this up, and I didn't because I was like, all right, they're going to think I'm hating.
You might as well if he already blocked you.
And here's the thing, too. This is what I talk about when I talk about being real on these microphones. I haven't heard one person say this yet. Now, I'm sure there's probably somebody out there. I just haven't heard it. Hope to hear yourself one day if you said it on the podcast. But I haven't heard one person say, man, I really wish they dial in Montez a little bit because they come out, they look incredible. They look like heels or just some badasses, but then they do the same thing they were doing when everything was just about wanting to smoke. Like the look doesn't match. Even the music doesn't match them. Mm-mm. And I think the music's great. I like
the music is great now. The music is they're colored, like they're black. Their outfits, their hookups.
Yeah.
But once they talk or move, like I said, he was right. Dawkins, his promo to me right now is a little bit better because it's believable and I can go with what he's trying to say.
Yeah. But they're still doing great work in the ring. So that's what I was going to talk about just in the ring. Real quick, and then we can move on to NXT. Personal story. You know, I love sharing these personal stories about people that we know in wrestling. So Rhodesia's mom didn't go home. She stayed with us for like the whole week after Matt's graduation. So she didn't go home until Sunday. So we didn't get a chance to watch SmackDown on Friday. We went to go see Tony Rock, which he's hilarious. Shout out to Tony Rock. One of the better ones doing the stand-up game. But so we watched that on Monday before Raw. Or before Saturday Night's Main Event. Sorry, it was Saturday before Saturday Night's Main Event. We watched SmackDown and we went to watch Saturday Night's Main Event. So we blow through SmackDown, watch all of it. For the most part. I think I fast-forwarded through 2 segments. But Rhodesia's mom was like into it. You know, and not saying too much about it, but kind of just making little comments here or there. So then we go immediately into Saturday Night's Main Event. And by time Saturday Night's Main Event was off, as soon as it went off, she asked, how could she watch Money in the Bank? And Rhodesia's mom don't watch wrestling. She said she used to watch WrestleMania. Because
everything's WrestleMania, just so you know. Everything's WrestleMania. I used to watch WrestleMania. I was like, Mama, you didn't.
You ain't never seen WrestleMania, Mama. You ain't never seen WrestleMania. So she said it about 6 times during Saturday Night's Main Event. And I was like, well, it's on Peacock. She's like, I can get Peacock, can I? And then that's like a whole thing. Rhodesia was like, don't ask that out loud or something. I don't know what's happening over there. But I was like, okay, we probably should just move on. So that was that one. I was like, damn, okay. Once again, they are doing something right with the casuals. Right. Second story. So Bobby we were texting about something. It wasn't connected to wrestling. And then he sends me, so this was Sunday or Monday. Then he sends me a text and says, Anna, who's his wife, Anna is standing up in the kitchen right now watching Cody Rhodes and John Cena. This is so cool. And then he was like, who knows where she may be in a year from now. I was like, at WrestleMania in Vegas. But same thing. She's a casual. She doesn't watch wrestling. The same show. So it's like, as much as, we just sat here and talked about, rightfully so, John Cena's heel turn and what that looks like for us hardcores, man, people just vibing. The casuals are turning on, the way they're watching, and they are locking in. So I just thought that was kind of cool that two shows or two people that don't watch kind of got hooked a little bit on Saturday Night's Main Event, where us that do watch can complain about the 4-minute Cody and R-Truth match if we wanted to. Complain about the commercial breaks and how it was like every 2 minutes it felt like, and it was breaking up the action in the matches. How the women's match was only, 4 minutes or 5 minutes, I think it was. Casuals don't look like it like that. They're locked in and that's it. So that was cool stuff though. So that was Saturday. I didn't watch NXT. Did you watch it?
I watched bits and pieces of it. I gotta tell you something, man. Like I was actually in a great mood over the weekend. I got some rest. Your boy was tired and working really hard. I was kind of bored when I was watching it.
You talking about Battleground? You talking about Battleground?
Yeah,
okay.
I just was kind of bored a little bit, man.
What were you watching? Which matches did you watch? Okay,
opener first 3.
Opener was a woman, right?
Was a women.
It wasn't Ahsoka, and I don't know. I'm just asking.
Let me take that back. So yes, it was Ruka.
Okay.
And Kai Kalani.
Yep.
All right, so that match started off a little spotty. It's just them showing like the flips and everything, but towards the end it did heat up.
Okay.
Towards the end it did kind of heat up. Man, so Ruka, man, like she's gonna be phenomenal. Mm-hmm. Just real quick, she's gonna be phenomenal. That sister, man. Number one, she's beautiful. Like, right? She has like a really unique look to her, and then she's like super athletic, man. Like the way that she's able to hit that soul snatcher now.
Yep.
Like, bro, like I don't think y'all saw it, but it's not even y'all might saw some clips. So she did the move this time. She jumped up and did kind of like a 450 and caught Kalani down with it, man. It was just like the most athletic thing. That is like, it was a beautiful spot, man. Like, yo, she gonna, man, look, she's gonna be you can tell she got that confidence too. Like, she's a young girl, but you can tell she got that older woman confidence, right? You know, when women they figure out they the shit. Yeah. Like, right, they figure out they dressing, they makeup, you know what I'm saying? Like she at that point to where she's like, she feel like she done figured it out for herself, right? And she's banging. Athletically, it's going to be amazing from a character standpoint. Once she can kind of get that, like, not kind of put some mic work behind it. But when she gets to the main roster, just her athleticism, her look alone is going to be great. So that match was pretty good. But then there was like I think at some point they lost me when it was Tony. I want to call him Tony DeVito. Fuck him. Tony DeVito. Was wrestling like the underboss. I just didn't care about the match, man. And I actually liked Tony a little bit, but it wasn't feeling for me. And that just wasn't interesting to see the rest of the show after that.
So you got lost. The men's matches lost you.
Oh yeah, the men.
Yeah. Now, no surprise there. No, I'm joking. I am going to watch it though. But so I think we can all agree then the biggest news out of that show was Trick winning the TNA title, right? Or do you guys think it was something else bigger than that?
I saw that honestly online. I didn't watch the show to see it, to be honest with you. But I heard about it. I mean, that's big for TNA.
Yeah.
Like, right?
I just heard about it yesterday. So I said, so does that mean then Trick is no longer on NXT and he moves over?
He'll be over.
He's on tonight.
Okay.
But I heard also, Matt, that it was a good match.
Okay.
So you might want to go back and check that out because you had like some issues with his ring work, and they said that Joe Henry did the darn thing in the match. So
I can't wait to watch that and tell you how crazy Brandon.
My gosh!
Shout out to Brandon. He just sent us a text. Say, I forgot to ask this earlier, but y'all are probably done by now. Did Trick win the TNA title because he's not ready for the main roster, or there's no room for him up there? And I swear to God, that was what I wanted to talk about right there. So that is ridiculous timing.
I mean, you can't write this.
Yeah, you can't write that better. So let me get my thoughts out first. This is a really big stretch in time for Trick Williams. And I have been somewhat critical of Trick because I see so much in him. I've talked about a lot of his, his matches, right, where they kind of just stay in like second gear and it never gets to that third and even that special fourth gear before the match is over. Of course, I've not watched this one. He said he heard it was good. One day I want to talk about Joe Hendry too. That's a whole thing I really want to kind of deep dive and get into. But this is if they had a spot for him, he would be on the main roster by now. And I know plans changed because if you remember back in November and December when they were showing the Royal Rumble commercials, they had Trick Williams as one of the wrestlers in the promo.
I would probably say that's Mandela effect because I don't really remember, but now I think I remember seeing it, but that's also because you just said it. So yeah.
Trick was also in the Raw promo packages.
No, I think I remember that. I think I remember that.
Trick on the main roster. This is a very important time for Trick because he's gonna be able to, at minimally, wrestle some veterans in this game that know how to work and know how to pull something maybe out of him. And not saying he's holding back, but like Mike Santana. Santana is not going to go for no half-ass match.
Is true. That's true.
Right? Like he's just not. So hopefully whatever he needs to find right now, he can find. This is by far like not he's in the doghouse or he's gonna be out of a job if this run don't go long. And I don't think this run is gonna go really long, but this is maybe one of his biggest last opportunities to show what he can be right now in this moment. So I wish him luck. I think he can do it for sure. But that is how, if I was him, I would look at this run that he's going to have in TNA and just try to milk as much as he can out of those veterans.
Soak it all in. Yep. That's very insightful commentary there. I would have probably just put it as this would be an opportunity for him to get a different scenery, pick up some new skills. But you're right. The people in TNA are your veterans. They've been doing this for decades and stuff. So I see that. And again, I think everybody would agree that Trick looks like money. It's just that the matches themselves, and again, I haven't seen a Trick Williams match in months, so I could be 100% ignorant in this comment that I'm going to make because it may have changed. But who would be at fault for the actual flow of a match?
Who's at fault?
Yeah, maybe because
every match has a producer.
So should some of that blame be put on the producer of his matches? I
said that, but when it keeps happening and nobody is seemingly once again talking about this outside of kind of us. Now there's some people who feel like Trick's not ready, and I think this isn't just about the match piece because we've seen people get caught up who are like, oh, they are still kind of green, but they got something. We know he has it, but I think maybe this is like I'm talking like a complete. There's something that's missing that they're looking for. And this, I could be completely off base. I could be wrong. I don't think I am. But he could just be missing that one thing and he probably knows what it is. And maybe even not through matches, he picks it up with something else. Maybe it's timing. Maybe it's, hey man, you need to lock in a little bit more and like do this when you're training or, you know what I'm saying? Like who knows? I just feel like they know. And I think he knows that whatever this is, I need to work on it.
Well, perfect timing. Because I know you said you mentioned Joe Hendry. We'll talk about him later, probably in another episode or so. But perfect timing for them to kind of. So then is Joe Hendry going to be on NXT more or no?
Well, he's TNA talent, so
right.
Okay, so then maybe not.
Right, so they have that exchange program. But to me, I still feel like I'm not worried about Trick at all because like he's still really young, and I think we still, when we talk about him, and we're all fans of, but I just feel like we always lose the fact that he's been doing this for like 3 years, like right, and it's not easy coming from a different sport, coming to that sport for everyone to quickly be a main event wrestler young and in 3 years, right? He's practicing every day at the performance center, but that's still a thing. Like, right? Like, I remember getting in the ring and, and I feel so bad. I remember this guy's name. Really cool guy. And he like, yo, E, you want to take a bump? I'm like, hell no. This song, like, this feel like a floor. I'm not falling on this, right? You gotta completely retrain the way you think about things, right? Because, like, the way you fall, the way you take bumps, to learn psychology, learn where you need to be, and like a lot of things happen very, very quickly. And just like any other job, some people take to it faster than others. Some people, it might take them a minute to come along, and all of a sudden, boom, they come out of there. But I feel like as far as where he's at for this young in his career, I feel like it's a great spot. And then we look at I don't think we should look at him being the world champion of TNA as like a downgrade of any kind of way. Like that's still like a big time company, right? And he's going there to be the face of that division, right? They're giving him like, yo, we want you to be the face. However, it's probably going to be short time. It's going to be a short period of time. He's going to be able to get to work with some people to kind of learn a tool. But again, we were having the same conversation about Brian, right before he got caught up. And he got caught up, and it was just like a lights came on. And again, it could have been a couple different things. Like, right, it's been, I'm sure all of us have gotten to different parts in our careers where all of a sudden its lights just turned on for you, right? And you're able to kick it into a new gear. Maybe it could have been some of that. It could have been who he's working with, etc. But again, I feel like we need just to kind of slow down a little bit with him to understand that how young he is to the business, how hard it is to do what he's doing, and to understand that, bam, to be in that position in 3 years to be the face of 2 brands, right? And then to be on the picture of another potential brand, right? Like, I feel like it's a phenomenal time period for him. I think we need to give him a little more time, right? Because not everybody's going to be these all-star workers like overnight. Man, Ultimate Warrior sucked for 25 years, 30 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like Hogan, maybe he's a good worker. Like, John Cena still sucks. I'm sorry. Like, he got some great psychology, but in the ring, we saw WrestleMania. We can't unsee what we saw. Like, it is what it is, right? Like, there's going to be missing pieces that we're going to say, like, oh, I wish he had this. But he already has so much charisma, aura, presence, mic work. And those are all important ingredients in being a star. He'll pick up the ring stuff over time. What is 2025, 2027? Maybe we're not going to have this conversation. And is he going to he's going to lose opportunity between now and then? I'm sure he's going to continue to get more, because when you have it, you can't take it away. He's going to continue to get better. And he's going to do well.
So I think the part of, and I was checking something, which I'll go over with you guys real quick. The part for me that I have to just push back on, and it's because of the position he's been put in, is we can give him all the time in the world, but WWE's not. We've seen shit. Dakota Kai just got cut, and he's NXT champion right now. So NXT allegedly is still a developmental brand. Typically, the point is you do your job down in one territory, and then you move on to the next. So when you were talking, E, you made the comment about giving him a little bit more time. My first thought was that, but he's already in NXT champion. It's not like all of a sudden you could just go right down the ladder and stay in NXT. I just want to read since 2022, the last NXT champions, and you'll see why I say this. January 2022 was Braun Breaker, then Dolph Ziggler, then back to Breaker. Then in 2023, Carmelo Hayes, Ilya Dragunov. 2024, and that was in 2023. 2024, Trick Williams, Ethan Page, Trick Williams, and Oba Femi. Those were the last whatever since 2022. My point is, all of those people are now on main roster WWE. And was besides Ethan. Yep. And was shortly after them winning the NXT title at some point.
Hey, walk back a little bit. That wasn't shortly after. Remember, Carmelo, kind of went no man's land for a while. Then he actually went back and had another match with Trick, right? And he was kind of in limbo for at least about a good 6 months. Dragunov was in limbo for about a similar amount of time. Like, it's like these guys get put in these positions for some time. Bianca Belair, like a lot of times when these guys get ready to go to the main roster, they kind of sit in limbo for a minute, probably until they find the right spot and the right time to bring them up. I feel like, and then I don't think we should compare Trick to Dakota, because look, Dakota wasn't the face of NXT,
of course,
or TNA,
of course,
right?
But you know what I mean, though.
I get it. I just feel like we need to not. It's the emergency flashers are not on. I feel like he's okay. Right? Like, they see something in the man. Right? If they feel like, hey, I feel like at some point you look at somebody, you be like, man, look, I'm gonna invest. Right? And when you got a stallion, you don't put him out the pasture just because of I just honestly don't think we've watched wrestling for a long time.
Mhm.
And we've seen a bunch of crappy wrestlers get over to a great extent. I feel like Trick Williams is a lot better than a lot of these wrestlers who are probably Hall of Famers. We can go down the Hall of Fame class and we can pick out at least 30 dudes who are doo-doo wrestlers. But it didn't matter if they were doo-doo wrestlers because that was what it was about. It's about putting butts in seats, right? And Trick is going to be able to do that for. I just don't think I don't think it's a panic for him yet.
Okay.
I feel like he just relax. He'll be all right.
I will say just this one thing before we leave Trick, and I wouldn't even have thought with Ilya Dragunov. I wouldn't have thought him, but Carmelo, Roxanne, Bird Lady. That's the term of endearment. Those last few ones that I could think of, I hold them in a different standard and in a different light because I can see them and Braun Breaker. I can see them as faces of the company in the future. These other names, which they're leaving me right now, that I can't necessarily say on that roster. But if I could remember, I will call them out, Matt. So maybe next episode I will call these names out.
All right, I like it.
But
can't wait for 202.
202. I'm calling them all out on NXT. There's of course no break glass in case of emergency. We're not there yet at all with Trick. There's no room for him right now on the main roster to even be important enough for us to care. But I am more critical with him because I do see him being the face of WWE in the years to come. So I am more critical of him. Now these other people, they're going to burn out like flash in the grease, what they call it. Flash in the grease. Flash in the pan.
Flash in the grease. And then
flash
she
in the
doubled
pan.
down on it. She's like, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
You showed your age right there, Auntie.
And Rhodesia, you mentioned earlier about whose responsibility it is. So back in the day, right? A lot of times it's the veteran wrestler. It typically calls the shots. Or it's the heel, typically. It calls the spots, right? And they said it all out. Sting was a green wrestler back in the day. Right? He was green before he was ready really for his push back in the day. So was Lex Luger back in the day, right? Mm-hmm. But as a kid, it ain't look green to me, right? Because they were in the ring with Dusty Rhodes, Ric Flair, these veteran workers. Actually, Jerry the King Lawler was another one. He had he was almost like the Hogan back in his day. I never saw none of his stuff back in his prime. I think I was too young for that. But he would take these big green giant wrestlers and he would just tell them yo, let me do all the work. Right? And he would make these dudes look like big, mean dudes. So I had to say this, though. If he goes to the main roster and he gets in the ring with the AJ Styles, he gets in there with Finn Balor, he gets into with Seth Rollins, he gets into with Cody Rhodes, these dudes who are 20-plus year veterans, they're going to lead him to a decent match. I guarantee. And when you're in the ring with greatness, you pick up tools from the greats. So in a year from now, just from if he seems like an intelligent man, he's going to be able to pick up tools and put in his toolbox, and he's going to be very successful. So mark my words. I don't get on the hyperbole, but I'm gonna do it.
It's hyperbole.
Mark my words.
It's hyperbole. It's hyperbole.
Mark my words.
That way we can trademark hyperbole.
Give that man another year and a half.
Oh Jesus!
And
Christ.
he would have fine wrestling matches.
WrestleMania will still be in New Orleans too by the time. God bless.
No, Vegas. You mean Vegas? It's still be in Vegas.
I keep checking this basketball game scores. Now it was 115, 109 with 4 minutes left. Pacers are up. I want the Pacers to beat the Knicks so bad. I didn't realize how much I hated New York, and I don't even hate the team. I actually really like Brunson. Cat is hilarious. He's sassy.
Spicy, boo boo.
Exactly that.
He is spicy. Ooh.
But you New York Knicks fans, and if you are listening to this, I'm going to clump you into this because I have to. Y'all are some of the biggest pieces of shit.
Oh my god.
And trash talkers and insufferable. All y'all do is just be loud and overhype your team. So when I saw that, I didn't know how much joy went in my heart when the Pacers won game 1. And I've been riding it ever since. And it's all because of the Knicks fans. So,
hey, Matt, it might be time for you to hop on WWE 2K25 because Tyrese is going to be in the game, man.
I saw that.
As your boy.
I like that.
Right?
And then somebody's got to create one of the Knicks teams. You good at creating characters? Create them for me. If you create them, I'll buy 2K25 tonight.
One thing I'll say about our New York fans, since we calling them out.
And we do have a lot of listeners.
Yes.
So shout out to y'all.
I love y'all so much,
Remember
right?
I was looking at the...
But let me tell y'all, the group
Sorry.
of y'all.
Actually, I take that back.
Listen, I'm ready to go.
I'm ready
to triple down on this. Your microphone about to burn up. Listen, I love y'all. But y'all football fans are the most insufferable football fans in a stadium. From Detroit.
You talking Giants or you talking Jets?
Talking about the Giants.
Okay.
We're talking about New York Giant football fans. When y'all travel and go out of town from Detroit, you would expect the rivalry to be heavy with Chicago, right? I mean, that's usually we ready to fight the Bears fans. Usually there is a fight with the Bear fans every time we would go to a game. But y'all New York Giant fans is just like, oh my God, how did y'all even get a ticket into our stadium to begin with? But I digress. But if you are a New York Giants fan and you are that fan that comes to another place in another city and you ready to fight and you come into the city of Detroit, stop listening to the pod, but tell 5 more people to listen to the pod.
Tell a friend. Robert and Mr. T gimmick. That's crazy. So AEW. And at this point, I don't know how many listeners, I don't know how many freaks are AEW fans. I know we got a few. So of course we're not gonna deep dive, but y'all gotta let us know if y'all want to hear us kind of bring more talk about AEW. We will. We won't be deep diving like we used to unless they keep putting some great shows together. But if there's questions or topics y'all want, I'm sure the 3 of us are dialed in enough on AEW to answer that. But I do want to the biggest story from Double or Nothing. Now this could be wide open for sure. So Rhodesia, I'm guessing
you already know mine is.
Ours may be a different answer. Now, did you watch any of Double or Nothing?
I did not.
Okay. You still would be able to speak on what I have. But Rhodesia, I'll let you go first then because I think ours is different.
I just gotta say, I am so in love, not romantically, but just in love with Adam Hangman Page. He is so, and I'm not taking anything from you, Matt, here, but because we have talked about this for a second. He is just so amazing. Like, to me, he is AEW. He is the inaugural champion, heavyweight champion. But what he's done to his body, what he has committed to his character, his hits, how he strikes, everything is so believable and it's there. And I don't really care too much for like cowboy gimmicks. It's just like not it. I'm a city girl, so like the whole cowboy kind of rule thing doesn't really appeal to me. But I just absolutely love Hangman Page. I love everything about him, his character, who he is, how he goes in the ring, the passion he emotes when he speaks on the microphone. And I'm not going to say this last line because I think, Matt, you might bring it up. But for me, Hangman Page.
No, you got it. What you got?
Man, when Hangman Page is Hangman Paging, AEW has all the ability to be shining stars. That company is his. Let him run it, proverbially like on TV. Let that man do what he needs to do. Put the titles on him. Have him running that show. He is the face of AEW. You didn't mess up when you made him the original champion. That's all I can say. I absolutely love Hangman Page and love everything about him.
So my only question after that beautiful, I don't even know what you call it, a rant, just a statement. There was like a statement from you. Why would you not say what you thought because you think I was going to say it?
Because I thought you was going to articulate it a little bit better. So I didn't want to steal from that.
Or it's because that was my thought and you just took it. And you were like, oh, you're right.
Possibly because I was already thinking that in my head. I was thinking that in my head.
You said you ain't never in your damn life thought that. Anyway.
Right, because I'm busy thinking about how much I love Hangman and how much he saved my life.
There you go. I was waiting for you to come on, man. You gotta keep the gimmicks up. Gotta keep the gimmicks up. Actually, Hangman winning was my top story. Everything you said, for sure. I've said for a while now, AEW's at its best when Hangman is doing something meaningful in the company. I've also said AEW goes the way Hangman goes. If we look at any time where AEW was really hot, outside of anything related directly to Punk,
Or MJF.
Hangman was at the top of the card. Even when MJF, Hangman was somewhere at the top of the card. He doesn't have to be in the top storyline, but he needs to be at the top of the card. And it's happening again. Him and Ospreay, I was looking forward to that match, and I got exactly what I wanted. Just an awesome match. Just two guys pushing each other, trying shit, doing shit. Awesome match. But I'm excited to see what they do. Hopefully they crown him at All In. Cowboy winning in Texas. You can't write any better than that. I was part of the Darby Allin train of let's get Darby to do it. Let's get Darby to take the belt off of Mox. I know he just hit Mount Everest, and thank God for him. Clap that up. He made it.
Oh, he did?
I think, he's heading back down now. He playing the AEW flag on top of the
mountain.
With the
that was so awesome.
But so they're saying he should be able to be back on TV soon. But I think it's Hangman's time. I don't really. That was kind of just him winning was what came out of that, because I do think there probably was some type of pivot in creative plans too with that, because that was kind of a shocker of him being in the main event or co-main event of All In. Other thing I wanted to talk about really quick is Mercedes, who's going to be on the women's main event side with Toni Storm. I think she is. She has, of course, a ton of fans, but I wonder if she's a little underrated with her wrestling matches, and not necessarily like how she wrestles, but where some people, when they get to the top of the game, you could argue and say, if you've seen one of blank matches, you've seen them all.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of the same thing. Mercedes matches are not like that. And for better or for worse, for good or bad, it seems like her matches are dictated by who she's wrestling. Like this Jamie Hayter match felt completely different than the match she had with Athena. That Athena match looked completely different than the match she had in the Stinker with Britt Baker. But even if they would have gotten what they wanted out of it, it wouldn't have looked the same. I think that takes a special talent to be able to do that, and it looks like she's in a real fight at times. I was very impressed with that match.
Something you just mentioned there. I had something else to say in the beginning of that. But the four horsewomen, they all wrestle like that. You think about Charlotte, Becky, and Bayley, and Mercedes, Sasha. When they wrestle, it looks like you said, they're truly fighting. Hell, at one point, Bayley her ponytail used to be unfringed, or however the word is. So to me, I think that's probably just the school of them. But underrated, I would probably say the reason why maybe I underrate Mercedes is because she's an obnoxious heel. So I can't give her that empathy, even though I can see what everything you just said. In every match she's in, she caters it tells a different story, and it looks different too, which is amazing. But I can't give her that because she's such an annoying heel. So I think maybe that's where maybe the underrating part comes from.
She's always been regarded as a really good worker, though, right? And I think it's they've always said in the past, well, she said in multiple interviews that she's the lead on all her matches. Like she's the one who actually calls the spots and she leads everybody, right? And they said that she's been saying that for years in WWE. So for me, like as far as wrestling, like to me, that's what she's more known for, as being a really good wrestler. I did want to see that match. That was actually the match I did want to see, to be honest with you. So I was having some technical difficulties with my service. So I wasn't able to work that out in time to actually enjoy the show. But that's actually what I wanted to see, was that specific match. I wanted to see Mercedes and Jamie. I'm a big Jamie Hayter fan. I think she's phenomenal in the ring. So I wanted to see what you can do with Mercedes. I'm pretty sure they probably lived up to hype. Well, at least my hype I have in the match.
It did, man. Go back and watch it. Even though you know who won, it's not going to matter. I mean, it's going to matter a little bit, of course. Always matters in false finishes. But it was really good. I was really impressed. I would like to know other people's thoughts. But fun show for AEW. The what is it?
Oh my God!
Anarchy?
Yes, the Anarchy in the Arena was amazing.
Amazing as usual.
As
Over
usual.
the top, ridiculous.
Over the top.
Only
Music
in pro
changes.
wrestling.
Music changes.
Music
all
goes
of
out
it.
because Kenny goes through one speaker. Like one speaker had music for an entire fucking arena.
Forget the production truck, right? That has everything going, right? Just that one PA over there went out.
just fun stuff. But Tony, I promise you, man, not many people would be mad if you just cut an hour and a half off these pay-per-views. The time I actually went to sleep. I physically went to sleep after Anarchy in the Arena. Adam Cole comes out, which I don't know what he's been doing, but he seems like just cold. Like it wasn't a big reaction when he came out. Granted, it was after Anarchy in the Arena, but I went to sleep throughout that entire match. And then I woke up when the main event was about to start. That shouldn't have to happen, man. That's crazy. Like that match, as much as I'm enjoying everything with the Hurt Business and Sammy and Dustin doesn't need to be on Double or Nothing. As much as it was fun, it was a really great match too for what it was. Ricochet and Briscoe.
Mm-hmm.
That I need you need that on pay-per-view. But like there was no story behind why it was a stretcher match. Even the video package beforehand didn't tell me anything about why it needed to be a stretcher match. But yeah, I would just love for him to understand that it's not people who are just trying to shit on AEW who are saying this. I know this is from the fans. Dude, it's okay. Just cut an hour off. 5-6 hour pay-per-views are too long. I understand people are paying money for it. I get that too. It would just make the show so much better. But to that point, Hangman and Ospreay had those people up and energetic and on their feet and screaming during that match, which is really hard to do when you've seen basically everything before that. So just shout out to AEW, but cut it off. Cut off an hour and a half.
You know what I just thought about too, and I knew I thought about it, but it just came back out when you said that. WWE pay-per-view PLEs are technically, you can say $9.99 a month. It's free if you have Peacock, but it's $9.99 a month still, right? $10 a month. Some places might get it cheaper. Sometimes if you have another deal, you get a deal in a package. So you're talking about $10 a month. A person's who likes pro wrestling is gonna watch that easier or more quick than someone who have to pay $55, $60 for a pay-per-view. I don't even know how much pay-per-views are today. So how much is that? How much is Double or Nothing? The cheapest that you can get it legally.
Is it 50 or is it 59? Okay. Well, either somewhere between 50 and 60.
So let's say $55.
I want to say
that's just a lot of money.
Yeah.
And if you're not clicking on all cylinders like the competition, I wouldn't buy the pay-per-view.
But at that same regards, if you're going to spend, $50-$60, I mean, he's giving you 6 hours of content for you to enjoy. So he's giving you your money's worth. Mm-hmm. Like to me, it's all right. All right, I'm not sure. Like, I want to be honest with you. Like, if Tony would have hired your boy. Like Tony will work with again. You just can't cuss me out. I heard you cuss people out, behind the scenes.
Really?
And I ain't with that shit, man. Like you ain't cuss. Look, Tony, you ain't gonna cuss
Tony
me out.
Tony ain't cussing nobody out.
Like,
I can't see him cussing people out.
I'll go right back to my job, bro. It ain't that deep, bro. You ain't gonna talk to me all crazy, man. But look, I would love to work with him, man. I would love to work with him. And we can do his way. I just want to just tweak some shit, right? So we're gonna have a Sunday pay-per-view. Like, let's start that boy at 6
Eastern.
Let's start at 6 Eastern. Let's start it right at 6. Had that boy going to 11.
Ooh, that's right? 5 hours.
At 10.
Man.
Go to 10.
If he wants 5 hours,
you saying start.
I'm gonna give him 5 hours. Let's give him earlier, right? Give him earlier.
No, go 4 o'clock.
In and out, right?
Go noon, like it's the UK.
Look,
it's a long time, man.
I mean, like go earlier in the day. Maybe even go 5 o'clock, right? Go 5 to 10, like right. It's a Sunday. Like people are getting home, they're doing their thing. Now maybe he might be thinking about during football season you got football. But look, those fans are gonna buy regardless. Like right, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. Just some tweets. You talking about Hangman? I don't know if the Hangman goes, AEW goes, whatever. But I do know he's a big star and he's great. He has a great grasp of his character. Ring work has always been phenomenal. But if you look at that roster, just if you pick like whatever top guys you want to pick, like you want to take that roster and you want to say, hey, these are like my 10 guys. You got a hell of a roster that you can build around that should give you great stories week in, week out on AEW television. Like, right? And then the roster is so deep and expansive that you should be able to kind of pluck guys in and out to keep the show fresh and entertaining without having the same guys. But at the end of the day, those 10 guys that you have that you can build around, say, hey, these are my guys. Like, oh, what do I have for Hangman? What do I have for Swerve? What do I have for Will Ospreay? What do I have for MJF? What do I have for the Hurt Business? Like, if just those guys alone, right? And you plug people in and out, and you build them to go after these guys month in and month out, you should have a hell of a program. Like, right? It's all they need is some small tweaks to the programming to make it that much worthwhile. And guess what? I understand that we are catering to the hardcores. How about give the hardcores something new and refreshing? Like, right? One of the things why, people like WWE, because they got new hip music, right? They're trying different angles. It's like it's new, it's fresh, it's robust. Like when you watch an AEW program, it's like watching wrestling from 15 years ago. Like it just doesn't stand out. It's not catchy when you watch it. You can be true to yourself. You can be true to your fan base by revamping it and add some things to it. Like it's just so many different things they can kind of do just to turn it up a little bit more.
And I do think too, and I want to shout them out lastly, because as much as, if you want to say we shitted on it, we've been extra critical of AEW, I am going to try to do a better job of just highlighting when they do something good. And what they're doing with the Hurt Business is like, we could have had this 5, 6, 7 years ago in WWE, and they never did it. Tony's booking Hurt Business better than they've ever been booked in WWE. With more to come.
They're like the African American version of the Road Warriors, and as they should, right? Because they're bigger than everybody in the damn company. They look menacing. And they have the background.
I don't want to be that coworker that is at the end of the meeting and they say any questions and I raise my hand up, but I have to just because you just brought that back up. Like, can we end the meeting? Can we go home, please?
You're the one more thing person?
Yeah, I'm the one more thing person. So y'all gotta break it down for me. Matt mentioned it earlier. You just mentioned it there. Y'all mentioned the Road Warrior pop. Well, Matt, you did. Enlighten me on what you mean by the Road Warrior pop.
Matt?
People now would say the Stone Cold Steve Austin pop.
No way.
Right. But the difference between, and I was never there live with the Legion of Doom when they were the Road Warriors, when they were at their
what? I was, but I think we were too young. So
yes,
I think we were really young.
You just hear noise. Yeah. Right. Yeah. But the story is the Road Warrior pop is the pop that hits. It is deafening and actually gets louder and louder and louder and louder. So it continues to build as they're walking to the ring. That's the Road Warrior pop.
So go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So are they who My Ascension try to emulate?
100%. Yeah.
Okay. So that's who they look like. Okay.
Hawk and Animal.
Right. Okay.
Yep. That's Paul Ellering was with them in their heyday when they were Road Warriors.
So were they bad guys or good guys at that time?
At their peak, they were heels.
Okay.
But because of the pop they would get, right, what is called the Road Warrior pop, they became faces at some point. You gotta
look them up.
Okay.
Get familiar with them. You would love like their story and just they were all right, E, let's do this. Since the Road Warriors, who has been built similarly to that? Would you say Brock Lesnar?
Ultimate Warrior.
But like now, because the Road Warriors weren't cartoony. Like they didn't come running down. They were legit big men that just beat the shit out of everybody. They ran through everybody. Imagine if APA never lost.
Or if APA didn't drink.
Road Warriors drunk. I mean,
okay.
Rest in peace, Hawk. Yeah, laugh at that.
Actually, I don't know. We had anything like the Road Warriors though, bro. Because like Hawk in particular used to cut these promos, right? And as you said, like, you know what I'm saying? Like he has a promo, like he was high on coke, whatever he was on, but like he was gone, bro. And like and Animal just was like intense,
yeah,
like right, short and sweet. So I like because back in Lesnar's day, Heyman did most of the talking.
But how about in terms of how they were pushed, like just as absolute monsters? Can you think of anybody?
That might. I guess if you want to think about from a monster push. But they also, because they also the no sell thing, like they were no selling before Hogan was doing it. Like actually, Hogan only no sold during that last portion we hawked up.
Correct.
Like the Road Warriors didn't sell for nobody.
So APA, as of course, APA probably is not as big as Road Warriors, but as everything that y'all telling me about, that's what I got off of APA. What I'm gonna do for a summer book club, the TFW Summer Book Club, I'm gonna become a historian over the summer and do my due diligence on Road Warriors. At the end of the summer, I'm gonna come back and report everything that I know, and I will be an expert on them.
I like that.
Hey Matt, real quick, right before we sign off, I got some homework assignments for the freaks too. Like, so for our upcoming Patreon account, what kind of content would you like to see on our new page
that doesn't involve nudity?
Hey, Rhodesia show y'all her feet though.
I've been telling her
that gotta go on. That's gonna go in a $60 tier though. We gon' and you gotta pay extra per toe. We ain't gonna give them. Look, bro, we ain't gonna give them all the toes at once. Now they gonna have to pay extra for that.
See what y'all doing, man. That's crazy. Cause
y'all want to see my toes. I don't clip these boys. These they stay long all year long. Yes, sir.
You got the Shaq toes. Are you what other homework? Is that only you said a couple? Was that it? You got another one for him? Yeah, you.
Right, you did say two.
Oh,
a couple things.
We gonna keep that in my back pocket because we are running out of time.
Oh, remember, he had 3 topics since Mania. 4 topics now since Mania. He did one. He did one. So then we're back at 3. We're back to 3
now. Yeah,
he's back to 3.
He's got a topic that he was gonna bring up. He doesn't want to now.
And I got a topic too to bring up later.
Before we get out of here, I do want to hit this counter programming topic because it's a pretty big deal. Because WWE just announced again today that Great American Bash is happening the same day as All In Texas. I don't even know where I want to ask or where I wanted to go with that conversation. I just wanted to have a conversation about counter programming because I see a lot of different thoughts and opinions online. And some people are, of course, for it. Some people are against it. Some people are like, well, hey, TK, you asked for this when you called them bald assholes and said you were competition. Some people on the other side of saying, well, WWE, you absolutely must feel like AEW is a threat to your business because you are always countering their programming with your own programming to offset their growth. You don't want to see the industry grow, et cetera, et cetera. So there's kind of both sides of it. What are your guys' feelings on counter programming? Because it's been happening forever. WWE has been doing counter programming since back in the day for Survivor Series.
Hell, I mean, that's how Vince took the nation by storm, right? I mean,
correct.
Isn't
that's
that what
he? So this is not
built
new.
that way.
But what side are you on? Is it good for the business? Is it bad for the business?
I have so many conflicting thoughts because I'm just 10 seconds into hearing that Great American Bash is on the same night as All In or All Out, whichever one. All In, I think you said. I had to take a step back, and I still think that I'm wrong in what I'm about to say. But they do this back and forth with each other, and everything you said is true. Again, TK, you called names first, so now finally when you get your just due, you can't sit up here with your tail underneath your legs trying to wind back home. I thought of instantly the relationship of Batman and Joker. And you could say who's who, because I think they change in cycles. But at the end of the day, I love Batman and Joker and the story that they have, because everything's wrestling. I like that kind of the feud that the two of them have. They're alter egos of each other. You can't have Batman without the Joker. So to me, I think I like it. But then all of these other factors start coming in again, money hungry as WWE trying to just pour more money out. And so then that's when that comes in. And I'm like, okay, I'm kind of conflicted. And I think my answer is wrong. But if you are forcing me to say something in this very second, 30 seconds removed from hearing Great American Bash is on the same night, I'm probably going to say I'm for it. May the best person win.
I don't really have a problem with this business for whatever reason. People like to do it. I'm just curious, like, why? Like, right? Because it's not like AEW is stealing a significant market share or even the fan base from WWE, to be quite honest with you. Like, right, from their perspective as a business, like, why? Like, right, if you're going out of your way to harm AEW, like, why? Right? So my way, I'm like, maybe it's just not that. Maybe they're doing what's best for business for them. Like, based on their schedule, this is a better night for them than another night, right? And they don't care about AEW. They're just in the way. Hey, this is what's best for us to run this night based on our schedule and our needs. This is what we gonna do. Like, right now, if it's AEW, it's in, what are you gonna do, right? Do you go ahead and fight against? At the end of the day, you're gonna lose. It just is what it is. Like, but at the same time, though, I think if we really think about, like, the fan base, I feel like if you're an AEW fan and you're ordering those pay-per-views, I don't think you're necessarily watching the WWE. Not to a large degree. I think that a good portion of their audience that pays for AEW pay-per-view probably is going to choose AEW over WWE anyway.
You would think so, yeah.
Yeah, so, like, it's much ado about nothing to me.
Or at the very least, they're going to choose AEW over NXT. Right? Like, I watch Double or Nothing. I wouldn't watch AEW over a WWE PLE. I'll watch it over an NXT PLE, though.
But what he's saying is, like, if you're a heavy AEW fan who can commit to $55 a month, $60 a month, you probably would still going to watch AEW anyways. Correct. Especially knowing that the PLE is on Peacock.
Unless they were going against WWE, then I would watch WWE instead. So, because put me into that AEW fan group, right? That would watch AEW over whatever that WWE set product is, unless it is WWE centric. Now, would I have watched Saturday Night's Main Event over Double or Nothing? No, but I would have watched Money in the Bank over Double or Nothing. NXT doesn't have a show that I would watch over AEW if there's an AEW pay-per-view on right now. And it ain't like it used to be. Like it used to be, all you would have to do is set your remote, and back in Detroit, in Comcast Cable, USA Network was 242. You press enter. You got USA up there. And then it was channel 245 for TNT. You would go 245, enter, and now you just back and forth. You just press that back button, and I got it all right there. Now you got to jump out of the app. You got to log into the other app, and then you got to find where the show is on the app. Then you got to press enter. And then you got to ask if you want to watch live or watch from where you were before or watch from the beginning. By that time, the match is over on the other one. It's a whole thing. Like, it's a whole thing. But I don't know if I have much around the counter programming except for it's a thing. It's fine. But it does create more pain points for the customers than anybody else.
Right. Like the customers could be the losers.
Correct.
It's about winners and losers here. Yeah.
And the customers are the losers, but I do think like NXT is losing viewers for doing it too, though. I don't know if somebody, I'm sure there's a lot of people though who would buy the AEW pay-per-view and then find out NXT is on. Oh, we can watch that for free. We'll catch up on Double or Nothing later on this week with clips or, matches on whatever site. So I think there's a segment of that too.
I think it's the opposite. I think if you were already committed on buying the pay-per-view for AEW, you are still going to watch that first run. And then when you have time, you're going to go back and go on to Peacock and watch whatever WWE wrestling program that was there, maybe outside of a PLE of WWE. But I still even think those people who committed to pay $55 for AEW's probably still going to watch that first. I don't think you fall in that group of people who, I know you say you're using yourself as an example of the AEW fan, but I don't think if you had those, actually you said it, those two, WWE main roster had a show in AEW, you're not going to pick AEW first.
Yep, I'm picking AEW then NXT, like, as I did this week. But the problem with counter programming is strictly the tribalism. That's where the issue comes in at, is people and their ridiculousness. So, like, we could stop that. That'd be great. I do have a major problem with tribalism. Because I just think, like, it's just hate. I think it's hate involved. Like, I know there's some people who think it's, like, fun. I don't. I think you got to be a little weird if you're a tribalistic fan. I do. Because the people will always try to say, like, oh, no, but it's like sports. Oh, speaking of. What's score? Yeah, they're like, It's like sports. Oh, hell yeah. Indy won 130, 121. Indy's up 3-1.
Hey,
But
New
they'll
York
be like,
fans that I got
but
mad
they'll
at.
say that.
Love
Oh, no,
y'all.
it's like sports. Like, you like the Lions, somebody else likes the Bears. Okay, that's your particular team. You're not pitting the NFL and then talking to somebody about the NBA. Like, it doesn't connect. But I do think people, just in general, they like to be attached. They want to be to something.
But that's
right?
the state of the United States. That's just how we are.
Yeah, like they just want to be attached to something.
Mm-hmm.
So they take it personal when you don't like something that they like, right? You know, and it happens everywhere. I get it. You know, Marvel, DC. So I do get it.
Mm-hmm.
I do get it from a sports perspective. If you're talking team versus team, but I just think it's weird when you're talking companies versus companies. Like, I don't, whatever.
Nah,
but
it's weird, man. Like, as a comic book guy, I bought DC. I bought Marvel. If you like comics, you're gonna like comics. You like anime, you're gonna like anime. Wrestling you gonna like wrestling. It's a weird that people go online and they do this shit. But we, as Rhodesia said, we live in this world to where people, they want to feel part of something. Like, right? So, like, look, I want to be part of the team AEW. Anything not AEW, I'm a trash. But at the end of the day, like, y'all AEW fans are super weird. Because like like the numbers ain't on your side. Like, it just ain't. It just ain't. It is what it is. And like what you like, but the numbers ain't on your side, y'all. Just chill out, relax.
And then it is sometimes where like you'll see something they'll say, and you find yourself agreeing with it, like whichever side. You're like, okay, see, this just getting to me now. Like, I don't want to agree with nothing the tribe got to say on either side. All right, y'all, we out then. We did this. Hour and 40 minutes coming off of 3 hours. That's not bad. That's not bad, y'all. We in the 200, so we appreciate it. And guess what? We are finally on TikTok.
Yay!
So there's only one video up. We still got to figure this whole thing out when it comes to what to post, how to post. I know how to post. Is all the other stuff that comes with it. So follow us if you have not. That's F&W on TikTok. We'll make sure we put content out there. Y'all know where else we are. We are on all the audio platforms for podcasts. So tell your friends to take a listen to the TFW podcast. Of course, we'll be on YouTube. That's Freaking Wrestling, and on X at That's FNW. We are out, and I guess next time we meet, we're going to be previewing Money in the Bank.
That's quick.
That's here already. Insanity. So we'll do that. Have a good time with it. Hope y'all stay safe this week. Hope everybody, if you celebrated Memorial Day, hope you had a good Memorial Day.
Yeah.
Have a great week. We out of here.